You're being assessed on your database structure, your tables and such like, and your front end, your website, and the code that connects the two. You're not being assessed on the data. However, you will need to do a lot of testing, which means you're going to want some data in your database. And when you submit your solution, it will be really convenient for your teachers if you've got a bunch of data in it. So what we're going to look at right now is seeding your database with some data for that purpose. So I'm going to dive into, I've done my migrations, my enable migrations and update database, file called configuration.cs, which luckily pretty much tells you everything you need to know. It's got an example. So I'm just going to grab some of this code and repurpose it to my own needs. We don't have a people we don't have people in our database, we have students in our database, and this line will use the P is like a temporary variable, so it doesn't matter what we put. Full name isn't the primary key, the unique identifier. Student ID is the unique identifier for our database, and within our database we're going to have a new student, and we're going to have things like instead of a full name we're going to have a last name equals do first name equals Scooby, and I think I've got a gender. That will probably do for now. You see it's complaining about student. What I have found is if I hover over that and go to show potential fixes, I can add in a using students.models up here, and that fixes everything. I'll need a semicolon, is that right? Didn't like that? Oh yeah, when I pasted in this line there's an opening bracket and I don't have a closing bracket. I've got a strong feeling that's not going to actually work. There's a couple of extra things I need to do. If I go into the package manager console, I've been fiddling around with this already, I think I'm going to try and update database and see what happens. I'm going to have to fiddle around a little bit here. It complained because of what? Didn't even tell me what was the problem. That's frustrating, isn't it? So the error is here with that bracket still. Maybe it wants a semicolon there. Yes, it did. Let's try again. I didn't do the update database, did I? Well, we'll see what happens. Waiting patiently. And students, and it didn't work. That's fine. So we'll try the update database, and if that doesn't work, there's another thing that we're going to try. So update database. I'm looking here to see if it does anything. It complained. So that's useful in itself. Now, my experience is that when it makes this complaint here, you have to dig quite deep. And the complaint it's specifically making is that that my student needs a date of birth, and I'm not giving it a valid date of birth. So let's add in a date of birth. I'll just quickly show you where that is. Date of birth is here, and we've got this date format string that it needs to be YYYYMMDD. So in configuration.cs I'm going to put my date of birth equal to, now it would be great if it would just take something like this, but it doesn't, as we can see. It complains about that. So what I have found is I need to datetime.parse something that is in the correct format. It doesn't like that, does it? Why not? Does not contain, maybe it's a variation. Maybe it's, I was guessing a little bit. Yep. And let's try and update database again, shall we? After all of that palaver. Save this first. Go to here, update database. Said no pending explicit migrations, and then running seed method. I don't believe it. I don't think it actually ran the seed method from my previous experiences. Waiting patiently. Students. Oh, I did. Scooby-Doo. He's been added in. I have, yeah, that'll do. I'm happy with that. And then if I want to add in more people, I can just do some copy-pasty kind of stuff. So I can add in a new student. Don't forget the comma on the end here. New student, Scrappy. And change the date. Scrappy is much younger. Happy with that? Yeah. And I think if I run this again, that won't have taken because it won't have run the seed method. But when I do run it again, when I run the update database in a moment, what will happen is it will seed again, and I'll get 2 Scooby-Doos. So yeah, it hasn't happened there. So I go back to my Package Manager console, scrolling all the way to the end, do an update database. Oh yeah, fair enough. That is not a valid, well, I don't know, it is a valid date, it's just a long time in the future. Try that one more time. Running seed method, and now I will have 2 Scooby-Doos. So, you know, do what it takes to, you're not going to worry too much about that. Maybe you'll comment this out once you've got it in there once. It's kind of up to you to make sure that you hand in a solution that's got some data that your teacher can actually use. Otherwise you're going to make yourself really unpopular. It's going to be pretty hard to get a merit excellence if you don't make life easy. There we go, Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo. I think that's pretty much all you need to